let's just see about, celebrating Valentine's Day, which I sort of, you know, when I look at Christmas, my son calls it um, Happy Capitalist Consumerist Day. And I think there's quite a few capitalist consumerist days per year that, really capitalized on the idea of things. I think love should be expressed every day of the year, particularly, for your life, for those around you, in your loved ones, your family, all these sorts of things. But also, of course, if you've got a partner, I think that's a daily choice to keep committing to each other. And I think also it's really important to, when you're in a relationship, to actually deal with stuff and address things that aren't quite going right, or to express if you're not quite happy, and to be able to, discuss that, get it out in the open, and to be able to hear each other. And often what you see with people is when they're first getting together, it's like, there are no words needed. And it's sort of just it's a feeling, it's all this feeling stuff. And, there's this closeness and connection. And, it's like words don't really seem necessary. But then the more you go into a relationship, it's like, we've really got to talk. You've got to be able to discuss stuff. The problem is that quite often people get into this defensive shutdown and, not really wanting to open up to each other. And then it becomes a shouting or a, argue from a vast distance away. And the further away you're getting, the more disconnected. And of course, relationships break down for a whole range of reasons in a whole range of ways. It's not always a shouty thing. I mean, some people can sort of sit there at the end of a relationship and go, but why did it end? Because their partner's not said anything. They've been like really perfect the whole way through, and then all of a sudden they're gone. And that part can be deeply unhappy, but not communicating anything, and poof, gone like a puff smoke. So the first thing to do when you're looking at love and the question of love, and when I've got clients who are looking at wanting to find someone, is to first love yourself. Now, it can be argued about what's a right time or a wrong time to date or to be open to meeting someone, all this sort of thing, but you have to feel right in yourself, and you have to most of all feel like you're worthwhile. It's really, really important to work on self-worth. And women are often taught to be very placating and nice and cooperative, like, let's do this diplomatically. I mean, you look at the Disney movies and this idealization of Prince Charming coming along, and that leaves some women very open to exactly the wrong kinds of guys if we're talking hetero relationships, or the wrong sort of people. And it can leave guys open to the wrong sorts of people too. But if we look at, some of these ideas that if a woman says no, a man should just keep pursuing her. That's actually kind of creepy in real life, but in movies it's romantic. And I sort of challenge you this sort of Valentine's Day and this time of the year to sort of really look at some of those rom-coms and go, is this healthy? Look at some of these ideas like Pepe Le Pew chasing that female cat all the time. It's sort of like, oh, you love me. And it's sort of, it's like, well, maybe not quite so much chasing and stalking and harassing and, just putting your hands on someone. Maybe actually if they say no, they really do mean it. And I think that's important when we're coming back to the idea of self-love, is to love yourself enough to not put up with really bad behavior. So if someone's doing stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable, have another think about this. What are the red flags? Like, is this person coming on and straight away, oh, darling, will you marry me? And I remember working in a news agent, and I was 16, and it was my first job outside of working on the farm with the family. And this guy would come in with a rose, and each new staff member, hello, darling, I would like to marry you. Will you marry me? And it's like, no. I think if a guy's asking you to marry you in the first week, I'd probably run as far away as you can. I mean, there can be exceptions to that, maybe, but, usually there's a problem there. So loving yourself enough is to realize this is happening a bit too quickly. To want to pace things at your pace, not to be rushed along to milestones that are quicker than you're happy with. So how do your psychic senses open up? So as a psychic particularly, we often meet people at the crossroads of their lives because we're kind of messengers and catalysts of change. So if you're an empath, a psychic, a medium, a healer, you're generally going to be meeting people when they're at the sort of that crossroads of really big transformation and the potential of good transformation, or other choices, And the thing to do is to ask yourself, what are they doing here? Like, are they here to learn and change through me? Am I going to learn something from them? I mean, I'm sure that Red Riding Hood learnt something through the big bad wolf, but was that really necessary to ask, what am I going to learn here? Oh, look, I'll just keep going along and find out. Like, no, if you're feeling wolf vibes, get out of there. Unless we're talking women running with the wolves, as in Clarissa Pinkola SD's work, then I'm all for you running with the wolf, but it's not the same as a big bad wolf, yeah? So, what's the feeling of their energy? Are you feeling well swept off your feet? If you're swept off your feet, what is disempowering you? What is throwing you off balance here? If you feel really calm and really happy with this person when you meet them instead, and you feel like really even on your feet and you're able to have a conversation and all this sort of thing, maybe that can be a friendship that starts out and might blossom into love. I'm not saying that if you see them only ever as a friend because, yeah, that's fine. There is no such thing as a friend zone. I'm going to say that right now. You are either a friend who is wanting to be a genuine friend, and maybe with that expectation that might develop into a relationship at some point. If you're going in as a friend in the hopes of this being like a vending machine, be nice for a certain amount of time, get sex out of it, you're not a friend. That's not friendship. So what's your feeling when you meet this person? What do you feel they're here for? Sometimes we can feel that this person's going through big change and maybe they're healing in their life. Maybe we can redirect them. Maybe we can help them on their process. But if we're looking to fall in love with someone, we don't fall in love going, and I can change you. I can make you better. Ooh, sounds like a renovation project to me. It's not really love. It's a renovation project. Maybe you should instead charge them and be a therapist and not actually sleep with them. So to really tune into your feeling, and self-love is also about this boundaries. If they're wanting to push you in a certain direction, if they're negging you, really Google negging, learn a lot about that. It's a tactic used to try to control you, make you feel a little less worthy than what you are, so that they can then assume control. And some people will attempt negging and bait and switch type methods and gaslighting, and even outright lie to you about things to see if you'll just put up with that. It's testing your boundary. So you might get the feels of, wow, I'm really attracted to them, but why did they lie to me? Well, the lying is the important thing I'd take notice of. And sometimes this checking whether you put up with this is so that they know that you're going to be easy to manipulate and to keep putting you further and further and further under their control. That is not love. Love is the ability to wish the best for someone, sure, want them in your life, but not controlling, not possessing. You possess things. That's property. We women, certainly in Australia, we've been able to have our own money for the last 26 years. We are no longer property. We never should have been property. But the thing is, what are you doing about this? And if a guy sort of says, oh, you're being uncooperative, I really want a submissive, feminine woman. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm going to run. And some guys would go, well, what are you talking about? You're fat and ugly. Well, the thing there as well is, if you are saying to a guy, look, thank you, it's been flattering, I don't want to go there, I wish you the best, you'll go and be Schrodinger's woman. Google that one as well. That's where you're beautiful and a goddess 1 minute and the sexiest creature on earth and you're so intelligent, to you politely declining them, and suddenly you're fat, ugly, stupid, and I didn't want to you anyway. So, I think sometimes it's really good to maybe test the boundaries with them. Sorry, I can't tonight because. How do they react? And how does a guy treat you when you're not acting cooperatively? This is not to be playing games on him, but if you're not always agreeing to something, what's he doing? Same if you're a guy and you've got a woman and she's doing the same sorts of games on you in a big way, of where you're sort of feeling like you're being pulled along here. Tune into your instincts. Same if you're in all forms of other relationships. What is this person doing with you? What are they doing with you and what are you doing with them? Does this feel like it's being real, or does it feel energetically and what you're hearing as manipulation? Quite often we can be too much holding on for hope, and there is Mr. or Ms. or them potential and Mr. or Mrs. or them actual. Pay attention to who they actually are, not just the potential of who they're showing you when they first meet you. And if you're loving yourself enough, you're going to look at that in the eye and see, aha, big trouble. And so don't be upset if you are meeting people and you're going, it just didn't work. It's not clicking. They don't measure up. Doesn't feel right. Walk away. It's easier to walk away early than to hold on and go, oh, if it gets in, it might get better, if they're showing you who they are, it's better to believe them up front. And today's card on this whole theme of Valentine's Day and loving yourself is actually the Angel of Gratitude. And that's about being able to give yourself thanks for who you are, being kind to who you are in this context of what I'm talking about today. Loving yourself, loving your life, being grateful for things you have, and really seeking to fill that life so that it's not empty void some predator can just slip into, right? Loving yourself will help protect you. So it's not just psychic protection, it's emotional and energetic protection. Love you all. I'm going to go for now. Catch you next time on A1R Psychic Radio. There's lots more shows on here. Keep tuned in for those. If you want to find me, I'm Jacquelene. Close more, just Google, you'll find me. Lots of love. Bye-bye.